Let's find out how widespread that problem is in the Eastern Cape. We're now joined by a spokesperson for the Eastern Cape Premier's Office, Mvusiwe Khaya Sqwecha. Dr. Sqwecha, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining us. The story that we just played, is this an isolated incident, or are there more incidents like this in the Eastern Cape?
Good afternoon to you and your viewers. Look, we've been getting reports about this, and what we want to emphasize is that the exhumation of human remains in South Africa for reburying people who died because of COVID-19 is illegal. It is not allowed. What we have in our health regulations is a clear regulation of what reasons would lead to exhumation of human remains, and those are clearly tabulated. They don't include to rebury a person, to remove the plastic bag, because that plastic bag was to protect the people that are processing the body and those that are burying the body.
So people are flouting the rules here, and you mentioned that this is illegal. Do you hear their reasoning? They do this because of cultural or traditional practices and ideas that they hold.
We hear that, and we appreciate it, because we have a belief system in South Africa. But hearing that means government has a responsibility to protect any person, any citizen. And part of that protection means we have regulated the manner in which human remains or bodies should be handled from the hospital or from the mortuaries immediately a person dies of COVID-19. And we have done, when Premier spoke at the press conference on Tuesday, he emphasized the point that because we value these concerns, our Department of Health needs to look at a way of accommodating, or possible way of options to accommodate this. The context of that is this. Remember, when we started receiving bodies, or when people started dying, the families were not allowed to view them. So we then created a situation where we will put a plastic bag, a leak-proof plastic bag, to allow families to view so that they can identify their loved ones. And on top of that, we then allowed that to say that family member must wear PPE, must ensure that they don't touch, they don't kiss the body. And we put out regulations even on public domain, on public platforms. So we're doing that to accommodate the people of our province. So saying that there's something that we want to correct in the story that you guys reported from that press conference, that we don't say we are allowed, it is illegal, but it doesn't mean we're going to close our eyes and ears. We're listening to what the people are saying, and we're exploring if it is possible to come up with other options that are going to address the concerns. But for now, it is illegal, it is not allowed. No one is allowed to exhume any body or human remains of a person who died because of COVID-19, because that is very risky.
With it being illegal, to your point, does this mean that those who are found to be exhuming the bodies of their loved ones will be arrested? Are you working with the police on this?
The police are looking into the matter, and where they find these people, they are going to process that, because it's a crime and they're going to deal with it. I can't say how they're going to deal with it, but because we're a caring government, they're going to listen to the people. Our first point is to educate our people, to say, don't do it. It's not safe for you. It's not safe for your family. It's not safe for your community. We put that proof-leak plastic bag because we wanted to protect people. We don't want people to be infected. Even if you look at the normal bodies that were buried because people had died of natural causes, there are strict regulations there to prevent infection that could be caused by any disease, because you're talking about a person who has passed and who has been buried for quite some time. So this is done to protect the people of our province.
This is a very sensitive matter, as we heard from the gentleman from that package, talking about the spiritual aspect of things as well. In terms of the interventions that you were talking about, you're saying you're looking at ways to accommodate the community. Will you have engagements with the community, also bearing in mind that this is quite a large area? Will you be able to reach everybody in order to educate them and tell them about the severity of the situation in terms of not exhuming bodies?
We always try to work with the communities. And the reason we do that, we consult because we want to take into cognizance the views of our people, and they need to take into cognizance the disaster that we're facing, so that we don't create a worse situation where, when we accommodate cultural and belief practices, we end up getting a lot of people infected. If you look at the number of infections in the province, once we started closing in, stopping some of these practices, we started seeing a reduction of cases. We started seeing a high number of recoveries. And we're saying to the people of our province, let's sacrifice. We've made a lot of sacrifices from March, where we could not do weddings, where we could not do cultural events in Belego, in Tonjani, and all those activities that are important to our people. And we're saying, if we can deal with those things, surely we can make sacrifices so that we don't exhume people, rebury them, do all this cultural practice. And at the end of the day, the families that remain behind will be infected, and some of them may die. This is something that we all have to stand up and work together on. And government is saying, while we're looking at it, while the Department of Health is looking at it, we are not allowing it. And if there are options that come, we will clearly put those. And those options, I need to emphasize this, are not going to allow people to be infected. We're going to make sure that whatever that we do with the people of our province, we're going to prevent infections. We're going to make sure that they are protected, all of them, from the hospitals to the mortuaries to the families that will be entering their loved ones into the graves.
A very difficult situation you find yourselves in. All the best. Thank you very much for talking to us this afternoon.